an astronomical failure rate with them. So wouldn't it be better to try to give them a little bit of education on the goodness of staying virgins until marriage? Right? They'll have a happy marriage, a long-lasting marriage, financial stability, etc. Teens are doing better. Teens are doing better. There are fewer unwed pregnancies occur to teenagers. It's an amazing thing. Under age of 18, only 7.7% of unwed pregnancies happen to kids under 18. This is going down, all right? Teenagers, may I congratulate you. Teenagers are doing something right. And so it really does seem that some of these abstinence-based programs are actually working, right? You tell kids the truth, they get it. I mean, they're not all idiots, right? So the biggest predictors of a kid not having sexual intercourse in high school or college is that they're religious. They love God. They love Jesus. They know what Jesus wants of them. And they also have access to the grace that God gives us. That's the surest predictor. The second predictor is if they want to go to college and complete college. And they say, you know, I've seen other people, they really messed up. I want to get through college so I can wait. I used to see these boys at Dallas. They sort of had blinders on. Think of these blinders. They had a job to do. They had to get through college. Then they could look up around and notice. All right? Now I'm ready, right? Now I'm ready to get married. All right? I can look up. But not for that while there's those little blinders on because they're saying, I got a task to do. I've got something I got to achieve. So the U.S. teen birth rate fell to a record low in 2009. Let's have it around for the teens, right? Still, more than 400,000 teen girls give birth each year in the United States. Teen birth rates have decreased by 37% in the last 2 decades. Of course, a lot of that has to do with an increase of abortion, right? Though U.S. rates are up to 9 times higher than in other developed countries. Shouldn't we be proud of ourselves? 9 times higher of our teens are having babies than in other developed countries. All right. People think contraception, again, will help teens become more responsible. All right. Teens who have had sexual intercourse by age 19 has been around 70%. Again, it's declined some, which is good. But these are teens that by the time they get out of high school, they've already had sex. By the time they get out of college, again, it's well into the 80s, if not 90s. Cost of teen childbearing. According to the Center for Disease Control Vital Signs, teen childbearing has a high cost emotionally, physically, and financially for the mother, child, and their community. About half of teen mothers do not get a high school diploma before the age of 22. That's just a high school diploma. The chances of them ever getting a college degree is very low. Girls born to teen mothers are almost 1/3 more likely to become teen mothers themselves. I used to stand outside an abortion clinic, and these girls would come in, and they'd be walking by, and they were going down to Planned Parenthood, which was down the street. And I would, 14, 15 years of age, we'd get to talk, and their mothers were 30. Their grandmothers were 45. It was a generational thing, because they didn't have an adult in their home raising them. When you're raised by a 14-year-old, how many values can you transmit? You don't have them. Children of teen parents are more likely to have low school achievement, drop out of school, and be teen parents themselves. Teen pregnancy and childbirth cost U.S. taxpayers an estimated $9 billion each year, approximately $6 billion in lost tax revenue, and nearly $3 billion in public expenditures. But we're going to be throwing more contraceptives at our teens. That's our solution, all right? Some people think, well, again, everything will be better. Fewer unwed pregnancies, etc., etc. Marriage drops the probability of child poverty by 82%. All right? Of the children living in single-parent, female-headed families, 36% are living in poverty. The biggest number of those living in poverty in the United States are women with their single children. That's the biggest group in the United States living in poverty. It's not hard to figure out why that is. It's just darn hard to raise kids and get a job, and you don't have the education. You have to take a lower-end job, and you can't get out of that. Lower-end jobs are great, but they're one things you want to generally move out of. But unless you've got some education and some skills, you can't move out of them. Only 6% of children to married two-parents families are living in poverty. Right, 71% of poor families with children are not married. 71% of poor families with children are not married. Non-married white families are 7 times more likely to be poor. Only 3% of married families are poor. Only 3% of white families that are married are poor. 21% of non-married families are poor, cohabiting, divorced, single, etc. Non-married black families are 5 times more likely to be poor. Only 7% of black married families are poor. 7%